Hello, my name is XONEVANT. Today is Saturday, June the 14th, and this is your Daily Dose. Alright, so I came across this article, definitely wanted to talk about it. I think I've done a similar video to this in the past when we talked about Grand Theft Auto and the big budget it had, right, to produce that game. And Kojima is actually up in the news today talking about, the new Metal Gear game and the fact that he wants to push technology, but with that push for new tech, well, it costs cash, it costs more money, which in turn, drives up the prices for everything else down the line, right? And he also says that he loses a little bit of creative freedom every single time he does that because somebody's going to have to foot that bill. And we all know that just like with Hollywood movies and things of that nature, when you have a lot of people footing the bill for something, everybody tends to want to put their input into it, right? We've seen a lot of Hollywood movies that are supposed to be super good, just based on the fact that they have a huge following, or maybe they've been a comic or something like that. And you would think it'd be absolutely brainless to produce that movie. Just simply easy. Just follow whatever's already out there. But obviously when people start putting their money and their 2 cents into it, you kind of lose that. And he's basically talking about that in this article. We all know that Metal Gear is going to be a huge game, right? He's putting a lot of time and effort into it. And I think we're all ready for the next Metal Gear game. But at the end of the day, I want it to be Kojima's product, right? Because that's most important to me when I play a Metal Gear game. I want it to be something that I know he put 100% into, and not some bigwig who had to give some cash just so he could jump tech. You see what I'm saying? And that's important to me as a player, and I think we all can agree that when you play a Metal Gear game, there's just something about them, right? There's something that fascinates you about that world, and Kojima has a lot to do with that. But if he can't have the creative freedom and control that he needs over the franchise just because they decided to jump tech, because they had to get investors and outside sources for funding or whatever, then he loses that creative control, and then we pay for it as consumers, right? Fans of the series. Now he's basically making this comment because in Metal Gear, the new Metal Gear game, they have a lot of depictions of torture and things of that nature, a lot of sensitive topics. And a lot of times investors don't want to invest in things like that, especially like when it comes to Hollywood movies. A lot of times they'll water down certain scenes, and they'll put their Hollywood spin on it where they can still show stuff, but it's so watered down that it doesn't have that impact. And I personally am not afraid for games to go in that direction. I really feel like that, the same old is, well, it was getting old. You know what I mean? I want to see something new. Something that fascinates me about video games is their ability to push boundaries. And I think that, I think that's kind of what he's saying here, is that when you get a lot of money involved and a lot of people have their say in the final product, whoever's writing the particular game, in this case Kojima, you might not be able to push those boundaries because money is power. People start flooding money in there. They feel like they can put their 2 cents in it as well, and it can sometimes, take away from the final product. So I guess for me, I would love to see games with the best graphics possible and the best tech possible. I mean, who wouldn't? But not at the expense of losing, the essence of the story. Never, ever, ever. I would rather play a game with PS2 graphics, you know what I mean, than to lose the ability to connect with that story and to push those topics. That's just how I feel about it. I mean, I feel like we're in a stage in the industry right now where everybody's trying to push, better graphics, better resolution, a better frame rate. And look, there's no problem with that. If you can push that tech, go ahead, but don't sacrifice your story, man. Don't sacrifice the essence of the game. And I think that's really what he's trying to say here, is it's all about keeping that creative control. And a lot of people are dumping money into a lot of different studios to get return. It's an investment to them. But sometimes that that money can have some strings attached to it, right? That can cause your vision to be skewed a bit. And I just hope that not only for Metal Gear, but a lot of these other big games that are coming out in the next year. I mean, what we saw at E3 was pretty good stuff in my opinion, and I don't want to see it get skewed by a lot of cash being floated around. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's pretty much what the essence of what he was trying to say here was, is that keep that creative control. Make the game that you want to make. If you have to sacrifice a bit of technology, cut a couple corners, cut out some graphics, something like that, it's worth it at the end of the day because you can make the product that you want to make. So you guys can let me know what you think about this. Would you rather have the latest, greatest tech with the best graphics and all this other stuff? with maybe a watered down version of the story, right? Or would you rather go the other way? Look, like I said, give me some PS2 graphics. I'll take it. Whatever. Just give me that story. I play games for story. I do not play for tech. I do not play for graphics. I do not care about 60 frames a second versus 30. If you can give me 60, I'll take it. I will take it, right? But it's not as important to me as the story. That's what I came for. That's what I want. And I want to make sure that whoever's developing that game is in full control of the outcome of that story, right? Because that's why I play these games. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow.